55 interesting facts about Madagascar. Madagascar, officially known as the Republic of Madagascar, previously known as the Malagasy Republic, is an island country in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Southeast Africa. It has an area of 587,041 square kilometer. Antananarivo is its capital and largest city. Malagasy and French are their official languages. Its official currency is the Malagasy ariary, MGA. Over 90% of its wildlife is found nowhere else on Earth. And today, 90% of its population lives on less than $2 per day. Learn more about this country with the following facts. Let's get started. 1. The Bard of Malagasy literature, Jean-Joseph Rabirivello, is also Africa's first modern poet. Born in a poor family, he grew up to master African and French surreal poetry. He was declared the national poet of Madagascar in 1960. 2. Haintani, translated as knowledge of words, is a Malagasy oral tradition, and is quite different from anything you have heard before. It heavily uses metaphors, folktales, fables, riddles, and historical poems to convey simple messages. 3. Kabari means public discourse but through indirect speech. It is actually a social game, where two players debate with each other but can never directly counter one another. For example, to counter someone's illogical points, one might say the dogs bark, it isn't might, but fright. 4. Both men and women wear the same clothing in Madagascar, lamba. There are lambas for marriages, lambas for work, lambas for elders, lambas for children, and even the dead are wrapped in a special kind of lamba before burial. Madagascar is a great place to open a lamba shop, if you ask me. 5. Madagascar has made an understanding with its ghosts. In popular Malagasy belief, the dead look out after the living, and the living look out for the dead. 6. Now, looking out for the dead, in Madagascar is both scary and funny at the same time, though a bit complicated. In a ceremony called Famadihana, the dead remains of an ancestor are first literally dug out and placed on the field. Then, the family members dance around the skeleton and engage in funny social debates, or kabari. The dead ancestor then goes back inside the earth again, happy and wrapped in a new lamba. 7. The lemur may look like a monkey tripping on cocaine, but it is actually a sacred animal in Madagascar, deeply revered and worshipped by the Malagasy people. To them, lemurs carry the souls of their ancestors. 8. A special species of baobab, known as the mother of the forest, Adansonia grandidieri, is only found in Madagascar. The striking landscape of the Avenue of the Baobabs has become a cultural identity of not only Madagascar but also of Africa. 9. Madagascar has its own brand of fight clubs. Marangi is a popular sport in the coastal regions, consisting of hand-to-hand combat without any weapons. 10. Music is not viewed as a luxury, but a sacred part of the Malagasy daily life. Music is believed to be the connection to an ancestor's soul, and sometimes when the party gets hotter, rum is poured into the instruments as a show of respect for the dead. 11. The snakes are not the only ones that hiss in Madagascar. The hissing cockroach, which happens to be Hollywood's cliché of scary insects, is found only in Madagascar. Here are 2 facts about Madagascar hissing cockroaches. First, they love to live in rotten logs. Second, they are actually harmless vegans that only come out of their rotten logs at night, for the fear of being eaten. 12. Madagascar has no tigers, zebras, giraffes, or hippopotamuses, as portrayed in the famous Hollywood movie, Madagascar. But the film rightly showed the lemur is King Julian. 13. The uniqueness of Madagascar's biodiversity rightly gives it a name, the 8th continent of the world. 14. This tropical paradise is the world's 2nd largest producer of vanilla, after Indonesia. Ironically, vanilla originated in Mexico. 15. Deep in the jungles of Madagascar, everything is not as it seems. The flat-tailed gecko, native to Madagascar, is a master of camouflage, and has a special fashion sense, blending in with tree barks and dry leaves. 16. The baobab tree is a species unique to Madagascar. It has a bloated trunk, which is used to store gallons of distilled water. 17. Madagascar is a paradise for chameleons. These reptiles are so lazy that they evolved a way to look back without having to turn their heads. They can turn back their eyes. They don't even care to run away from a predator, and can simply change their body color and merge with the surroundings. 18. 90% of the world's lemur species live happily in Madagascar. Everywhere else in the world, the lemurs evolved into monkeys, except in this lemur paradise. A true Pokémon at heart. 19. The silk of Darwin's bark spider, endemic to this tropical island, produces the world's strongest silk, which is 10 times stronger than Kevlar, a synthetic fiber of high tensile strength. It also makes the world's creepiest and biggest reported orb nests. 20. Tenrecs were the first mammals to inhabit Madagascar. They look like hedgehogs and curl up into a spiny ball when threatened. 21. Madagascar has an entire forest made of stones. Chingy, Madagascar's stone forest, has big, tall stones naturally lined up along with trees. 22. Racially speaking, Madagascar is truly unique. The Malagasy people are descendants of African and Asian people, who migrated from Borneo, Sumatra, Java and Indonesia. 23. Madagascar had 2 breakups during its early days. After a break from the African continent around 160 million years ago, it started to drift toward the east along with its new partner, the Indian subcontinent. But then, around 88 million years ago, India broke off with Madagascar, too, and it became an island near Africa. 24. But that was a blessing in disguise for Madagascar. Those breakups isolated Madagascar so much that it developed its own unique ecosystem. 90% of the species in Madagascar can't be found anywhere else on Earth. 25. Govern a country as you would roast a crocodile on a spit, a proverb from Malagasy literature. It leaves little room to say anything else. 26. The early Malagasy people irrigated their crops like a boss. The technique they used was called slash and burn, and it would involve cutting down a forest and then burning the remains. After cultivating that land for a while, they got bored and moved on to the next rainforest for some more slashing and burning. 27. Though rich in biodiversity, Madagascar is totally cashless. While Africa is the poorest continent of the world, Madagascar is one of the poorest nations of Africa. 90% of the population survives on less than $2 a day. 28. Poverty doesn't dissuade the people of Madagascar from building expensive burial tombs for their dead or burying the dead with jewels and precious metals. In fact, many families spend more on their dead than on themselves. 29. The ariary is not a pirate's call but a rodent of Madagascar, which looks like a drug addict running away from rehab. Incidentally, this little animal has an unusually large middle finger. 30. Some 100-odd Antananarivo villages of the tropical rainforests in Madagascar produce beautiful crafts from timber. It has been recognized internationally with UNESCO placing it on its list of intangible cultural heritage. 31. The natural beauty of Madagascar earned it another prestigious distinction from the UN. The rainforests of the Antananarivo on the eastern coast were declared a World Heritage Site in 2007. 32. Madagascar has a healthy share of exotic fruits in its basket. Fruits like jackfruit, longan, avocado, custard apple, breadfruit, and baobab all grow on this tiny tropical island. 33. Though the size of Madagascar is almost twice that of the UK, Madagascar has just 1% of the total paved road length of the UK. 34. The people of Madagascar relish rice like no one else. The verb for eating a meal is mihinambari, which literally translates to eat rice. 35. Ranavola is served as tea in Madagascar but is far from one. Its preparation goes something like this: burn rice in a pan, pour water, strain, and enjoy your morning tea. 36. The name Antananarivo is derived from the French and is pronounced Tananarive. It is the largest city and the capital of Madagascar. The urban area that surrounds the city is Antananarivo Renovohitra and is the capital of Analamanga. With most of the cities in Madagascar being extremely small in comparison to other areas in the world, Antananarivo, being the largest, is not as large as you may think. 37. The city was founded in 1610, at which point the Marina king Andrianjaka expelled all the Vazambar inhabitants out of Analamanga, where he then declared it the site of his capital. It was later renamed Antananarivo by King Andramasinavallona. The name means City of the Thousand, in memory of the fallen soldiers. It appears that most cities, especially small ones like this, commemorate their fallen heroes by way of erecting symbolic names or statues. 38. Antananarivo is the place to see when in Madagascar. There are over 5,000 churches, buildings in and around the city, including a Roman Catholic cathedral and an Anglican church building. This city has more nightclubs, universities, medical services, and art venues than any other city in the region. Even though nightlife may not be at the top of the list here, you are sure to be able to worship wherever you choose. 39. Mahajanga is an administrative city situated on the northwest coast of the island of Madagascar. This city is a major tourist attraction where guests can enjoy walks along the coconut-lined boardwalk. The weather is fantastic 8 full months of the year, with almost no rainfall at all. 40. Mahajanga is the second most important seaport in Madagascar, with Tomasina being the first. The terminal allows for small freighters and container ships with a mass of not more than 150 tons. Ships that are deeper need to anchor outside of the marine terminal, where their cargo has to be transported via barges into the terminal. The harbors may not be one of the biggest in the world, but they definitely get the job done. 41. Mahajanga was formerly known as Majunga, had an estimated population of 100,807 in 1993. Even though it has a shallow harbor, it is one of the nation's important ports. 42. Mahajanga has cement, food, and sisal processing industries. There are also plants that produce rice, coffee, sugar, and they have a pretty good fishing industry as well. 43. This city was once the capital of the Sakalava Kingdom, which was booming in the 18th century. France occupied the city from 1883 to 1885 and took it back in 1894. Many people from Comoros immigrated to Mahajanga until riots in 1976 and 1977, when the immigrants were then deported. 44. The average weather in Antananarivo has a very muddy and overcast winter, but when it comes to the dry season, it is warm pretty much all year long. The temperature varies between 53 degrees Fahrenheit to 85 degrees Fahrenheit and almost never drops below 49 degrees Fahrenheit or goes above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. 45. Antananarivo is a commune and town located in Madagascar. Antananarivo is part of the Aloutre-Mangoro region, and the population was around 47,000 when the census was done in 2001. This small place does offer primary and secondary schooling, as well as hospital access to all of the citizens. 46. Antananarivo is a town situated in the middle of Madagascar. It is perched on the slopes of Ciafajivona, the second highest peak in the Ankaratra Mountains. There are thermal springs here, and this is what was the reason why a health resort was established here in 1923. 47. The region has a rail line that is used to transport the many grapes, apples, dairy, poultry, and pork products that are produced there. There are also industries in the town that include cigarette making, weaving, and spinning, and food processing. 48. Tomasina was once known as Tamatave, and it is the main port city of Madagascar. This little gem is situated on the east coast of the northern part of the island's spectacular rainforest. 49. You can find loads of unique fauna and flora here, as well as plantations of vanilla, coffee, banana, clove, lychee, and coconut. In the city, you will not only find old colonial buildings right next to brand new hotels, but you will also be amazed at the boulevards lined with palm trees. 50. Tomasina is the perfect spot for tourists, but be warned that there is a real possibility that you could witness a real cyclone while in the city. 51. Ambovim is in the Androy region, where there is a town known as Ambohimalaza. It was recorded in 2001 that there were only about 8,000 people in this little commune. 52. The area only has primary schools available. Almost half of the working population raises livestock or farms, with the most important crops being maize and sweet potatoes. Cowpeas and cassava are also important agricultural products for the region. 53. Ambovim is the poorest place in Madagascar, but yet it is not deemed to be poor enough to qualify for aid. This is based on a study done in 2015. 54. Fionarantsoa is a town situated in east-central Madagascar. This little town was discovered in 1830 and lies on the eastern end of the escarpment and is at about 4,000 feet above sea level. It is surrounded by woodlands and is situated in the middle of the richest tea and wine producing region in Madagascar. 55. The University of Fionarantsoa, which was established in 1988, is here. This is where all the future geniuses on the island go to gain their knowledge. There are a number of highways and railway connections that connect this town to larger areas such as Toliara, Antananarivo, and Manakara. According to stats from 2014, there are around 195,500 people that inhabit this area. Hope you like this video. Please like and share this video and subscribe our channel for more informative videos. Thanks for watching.